Jalen Brunson was drafted just 33rd overall in the 2018 NBA draft, in what has turned out to be a stacked draft class with the likes of Luka Doncic, Trae Young, and many prominent NBA players. Brunson has cemented himself as arguably the second best player in this draft class behind Luka Doncic. Now leading the New York Knicks back into championship contention, Brunson has a chance to cement himself as one of the greatest New York Knicks of all time, putting together a dominant 2026 playoff run. We'll see how the Knicks finish. But now let's quickly take a look at what happened to all 32 players drafted above Jalen Brunson in the 2018 NBA draft. At number 1, we have DeAndre Ayton. He started his career off with Phoenix and made the 2021 NBA Finals with that team with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Then he went to the Blazers in a trade where the Suns got back Grayson Allen, who will also be featured later in this video. And then this past season, Ayton was with the Lakers. Got to pair up with Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves. It's a pretty solid set overall. Can do a lot of things for you on the court. We'll kind of see whether the Lakers keep him long term, but that's where he was this season, and I'm sure if he doesn't get a contract with the Lakers, he'll get a contract with somebody else. At number 2, we have Marvin Bagley. Started off his career with the Sacramento Kings, then eventually went to the Pistons, and at least this past season, after starting off the 2026 season with the Wizards, he was then involved in the Anthony Davis trade. So then he finished off the season with the Mavericks, so we'll see, I guess, whether they keep him going forward here, but he's a pretty solid big, can do a lot of different things for you, can stretch the floor a little bit, can rebound, can score, so pretty solid player, but yeah, like I said, we'll see whether the Mavericks will keep him beyond this 2026 season or not. At number 3, we have Luka Doncic. As I said at the beginning of the video, probably the best player in this draft class, just finishing his second season with the Lakers, but unfortunately he was injured for the whole Lakers playoff run, so we didn't really get to see another playoff run potentially with Luka, LeBron, and Reeves all together. So it'll be interesting to see, whether LeBron comes back for a 24 season and whether we will get to see this big three in the playoffs next year, which I think could be pretty dominant. And I think the Lakers could have potentially given the Thunder a run for their money if Luka was healthy. So hopefully Luka is healthy for the 2027 playoffs next year. At number 4, we have Jaren Jackson Jr. After spending his whole career in Memphis so far and developing into an all-star and a consistent Defensive Player of the Year candidate, he was traded to Utah mid-season during the 2026 season. So should form an interesting trio with Lowry, Markkanen, and Keontae George. So I'll be interested to see how that works out, but I think the Jazz will be a lot better next year, and Jaren Jackson Jr. will definitely help improve the Jazz's defense, which has not really been that great over the last few years. So his shot blocking, rim protection, and floor spacing should really help the Jazz in the 2027 season. At number 5, we have Trae Young. After spending his whole career with the Atlanta Hawks so far and making the 2021 Eastern Conference Finals, Trae Young was traded midway through the 2026 season to the Washington Wizards. So now he gets paired up with Anthony Davis and Alex Sarr and Bub Carrington. Just the plethora of young players they have, Bilal Coulibaly. So the Wizards will be an interesting team next year, and I think with Trae Young and Anthony Davis kind of leading the helm with a lot of these young guys that they have, the Wizards will definitely be an interesting team, and I think they will make the playoffs. So, yeah, interested to see how kind of Trae Young fares in his first full season with the Wizards, and I'm excited to see how that pans out for him next year. At number 6, we have Mo Bamba. After starting his career off with the Magic, he's bounced around to a few different teams. This past 2026 season, he played on both the Raptors and then ended the season with the Utah Jazz. He's got a really nice skill set for the modern NBA, can block shots, can space the floor at that center position. So I have to imagine he'll be on a team next year, whether that's with the Jazz or somebody else. But yeah, I think he's got a really valuable skill set, just really got to find the right situation where he can be consistently in the rotation. But I think he will. I think he'll find that spot, and it'll be interesting to see where he ends up next year for the 2027 season. At number 7, we have Wendell Carter Jr. He started off his career with the Chicago Bulls and then was traded midway through the 2021 season to the Orlando Magic in the Nikola Vucevic trade, and so he's been with the Magic ever since. Has had kind of an up and down stint with the Magic, at least as far as injuries go, but when he is healthy, the Magic are definitely a better team when he's on the court, and has been a really good starting center for them, like I said, when he is healthy. So we'll see the Magic fare next season. Hopefully they can make it past the first round, and I'm sure Wendell Carter will be a major part of that. At number 8, we have Colin Sexton. After starting his career off with the Cleveland Cavaliers, he's bounced around to a few different teams, had a solid season or two with the Utah Jazz, and then went to Charlotte, and then midway through this 2026 season, he was traded from Charlotte to Chicago, so he ended off his 2026 season with the Chicago Bulls. But yeah, he's an interesting guard, provides you a lot of energy, a lot of good scoring. It's just a really good, I think, just guard to have in general on your roster, like I said, with his energy, his positivity, the way he can score the ball, play defense. Hopefully 2027 season will go pretty well for Colin Sexton, and we'll see whether that's with Chicago or someone else. At number 9, we have Kevin Knox. After starting off his career with the New York Knicks, he then went to the Hawks and the Pistons and the Blazers and then back to the Pistons. But then the past few years, he's mostly been out of the NBA. He played for the Rip City Remix, the Santa Cruz Warriors, and then did get a little bit of NBA time during the 2025 season with the Warriors. And this past season, he was with the Windy City Bulls in the G League. The Bulls actually had waived him at some point during the preseason in 2025, but then yeah, like I said, ended up playing with the Bulls G League team. So he's an interesting player. He's kind of a, kind of a stretch wing / forward, can shoot the 3-ball pretty well. So he's definitely got a valuable skill set, and I think for him, it's just about finding the right situation. At number 10, we have Mikal Bridges. He developed into a really nice player in the Phoenix Suns and then eventually went to the Brooklyn Nets in the Kevin Durant trade. He continued to develop his game, played pretty well there, and then was traded to the New York Knicks. And so now he's helping the Knicks contend for a championship and has been a pretty solid, kind of third or fourth option on that Knicks roster. Can shoot the 3-ball really well, plays defense, and the big thing with Mikal Bridges, he is always available. I believe, at least at the recording of this video, that he hasn't even missed a game yet in his career. Could be wrong about that. You guys might have to fact check me, but I'm pretty sure he hasn't missed a game. So extremely durable player, and if the Knicks do win a championship, he's going to be a major part of that. At number 11, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The biggest news with him was that he was awarded the back-to-back MVP. So now he's looking to win another championship with the Thunder, which would also be back-to-back. So we'll see if that happens by the time you guys are seeing this video. But yeah, Shai has developed into the best point guard in basketball. I don't think there's a doubt about that. Obviously, you could make an argument with some guys, his Luka point guard, his Steph up there when he's healthy and all that. But I think Shai cemented himself as the best point guard in basketball. And the Thunder are kind of trending towards a dynasty here. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, if they win a championship by the time you guys see this video, but we'll see. At number 12, we have Miles Bridges. He spent his whole career with the Charlotte Hornets so far and has developed into a consistent 18 to 20 point per game scorer, averages around 7 rebounds as well. So he's kind of a do-it-all stretch forward in a lot of ways. I think he complements this Charlotte Hornets roster pretty well for the most part with LaMelo and Brandon Miller and Con Kneppel. So that Charlotte Hornets team is a really potent offense with kind of those 4 guys as your leading scorers. But yeah, we'll see kind of where Miles Bridges fits in their long-term plan, just because I think they're kind of trending more towards, LaMelo and Con Kneppel and Brandon Miller. And not that Miles Bridges is much older than them, but he's sort of on a little bit of a different timeline. So we'll see, but still fits this team really well as kind of that third or fourth option. And yeah, like I said, been with the Charlotte Hornets his whole career. At number 13, we have Jerome Robinson. He first started off his NBA career with the Clippers and then went to the Wizards. He also had a little bit of a stint with the Warriors as well and played a few seasons with their G League team. 3 seasons, I believe, to be exact. And then he's been playing pro ball overseas, so he went to France and then he went to Turkey. But yeah, he's a pretty solid scorer and 3-point shooter. It just hasn't really worked out for him at the NBA level so far. But yeah, just like I said, been playing overseas the past couple of years. Number 14, we have Michael Porter Jr. He spent his whole career with the Nuggets until this 2026 season. He was traded in the offseason to the Brooklyn Nets for Cam Johnson. And he had a career year with the Nets, basically getting to be the number 1 option, averaged like 22, 23 points a game, 7 rebounds, I believe over 3 assists as well. Pretty much had career highs in, I think, quite a few categories, but he had an amazing year with the Nets. Obviously, was a critical part of the Nuggets winning the championship in 2023 as well. So yeah, we'll see how his career pans out with the Nets, but definitely an all-star level player, and I'm sure if he's not with the Nets by the end of the 2027 season, he will probably be with some contending team that could use, his 20-point per game scoring and just his overall scoring arsenal. At number 15, we have Troy Brown Jr. He bounced around a few different teams during his NBA stint so far. Started off with the Wizards, then went to the Bulls, played a season with the Lakers. His last season in the NBA was in the 2024 season, where he played for both the Timberwolves and the Pistons. Since then, he's been playing overseas. He played in Turkey and Puerto Rico, and then for the 2026 season, he played in Australia. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be back in the NBA at some point. At number 16, we have Zaire Smith. He started off his career with the Philadelphia 76ers, also played on their G League team as well. But then, yeah, pretty much since then, hasn't really had an NBA stint. I mean, he's been in the NBA G League with the Canton Charge and the Texas Legends, but he's also played pro ball in Puerto Rico, and then also had a few other G League stints as well, Texas Legends, Oklahoma City Blue. But yeah, then this past 2026 season, he played some more pro ball in Puerto Rico. So we'll see if he gets back in kind of at the NBA level. Hasn't played in the NBA since the 2020 season with the Philadelphia 76ers. But yeah, we'll see how his career pans out. Like I said, last year for the 2026 season, he played in Puerto Rico. At number 17, we have Donte DiVincenzo. He actually did get injured in the 2026 playoffs and tore his Achilles, so man, just a really tough injury for DiVincenzo. So praying for a speedy recovery for him. Hopefully he can be back at least by the end of next season. So hopefully, he can help the Timberwolves in another playoff run. But yeah, just really unfortunate, man. I mean, he already had a really bad ankle injury during the 2021 playoff run when he was with the Milwaukee Bucks. And so even though the Bucks won the championship, he didn't really get to play through a lot of that championship run. So just really unfortunate, man. Like I said, hopefully he has a speedy recovery. And he can recover well. Obviously, there's been, some more players not only getting Achilles injuries, but also just recovering really well from them. So hopefully he can be one of those players. But DiVincenzo, he's been absolutely amazing for Minnesota over the past couple of years. Just really solid guard, can shoot the three ball really well, defends, plays with high intensity, high effort. So yeah, hopefully, like I said, that he can just recover well from this Achilles injury. At number 18, we have Lonnie Walker. He started off his career with the San Antonio Spurs and had some solid years there. Then went to the Lakers, then the Brooklyn Nets, and his last NBA stint was in the 2025 season with the Philadelphia 76ers. And it seems like he played pretty well, so I'm kind of shocked he didn't get an NBA opportunity this past 2026 season, in which he played pro ball in Israel. So yeah, I think Lonnie Walker, he'll probably be back in the NBA next season. Like I said, pretty solid scorer overall, I would say. So yeah, hopefully he's on an NBA roster for the 2027 season. Number 19, we have Kevin Huerter. Start off his career with the Atlanta Hawks and went to the Sacramento Kings and had a couple solid seasons there. Then got traded to the Chicago Bulls in the Zach LaVine trade. And then he ended off this 2026 season with the Detroit Pistons. So Huerter kind of had a little bit of a down year shooting the basketball compared to previous seasons, but he's a pretty solid scorer. Probably get back on track next season. We'll see if Detroit keeps him. I would say Detroit, though, definitely needs some more offense and three-point shooting overall. So hopefully they do keep Huerter around, but if not, he'll definitely have a role somewhere else in the league given his three-point prowess and just history and ability of being able to score the basketball. So we'll see where he ends up for the 2027 season, but maybe the Pistons will keep him. We'll have to see. At number 20, we have Josh Okogie. He started off his career in Minnesota and bounced around to a few different teams. Also played with the Phoenix Suns and the Charlotte Hornets. But this past 2026 season, he was with the Houston Rockets. Always been able to make his mark as a really athletic defensive wing. For him, it's really been about continuing to improve his three-point shooting. So maybe the Rockets will keep him. He kind of fits sort of their style and how they like to play. So we'll see. But yeah, Josh Okogie been a pretty solid defensive wing throughout his career so far. Number 21, we have Grayson Allen. Start off his career at the Utah Jazz, then was traded to the Memphis Grizzlies and really established himself there as a really consistent three-point shooter. Then had a couple good years with the Bucks, and then he's been with the Phoenix Suns over the past few years and has really broken out into one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA, more so from a volume perspective, plus from a percentage perspective as well. So yeah, just Grayson Allen, like I said, just a really solid guard, can shoot the ball really well, has already carved out a nice career for himself. At number 22, we have Chandler Hutchison. He did play with the Chicago Bulls for 2.5 seasons, was also with the Wizards to end off the 2021 season, and then also played for the Phoenix Suns during the 2022 season. After that, he spent a few years in the G League, was with the Santa Cruz Warriors, then the Skyforce. Then during the 2025 season, he was with the Cleveland Charge. But according to his Instagram, he is now part of Pros Vision Player Development, which is a player development training company by Darren Collison. So it looks like that is what Chandler Hutchison is up to now in 2026. At number 23, we have Aaron Holiday. Start off his career with the Indiana Pacers, and this past season, he was also on the Houston Rockets like Josh Okogie. He was also with Houston the previous year as well. He's really just carved out a nice NBA career as a really good backup point guard. Can pretty much do everything for you. Can score, can pass, can shoot, good three-point shooter. So he's just really the perfect backup point guard that you want on your roster. He's a really good backup point guard that you want on your roster. Number 24, we have Anthony Simons. After spending his whole career with the Blazers up until the 2026 season, and where he really developed into just a really consistent 18 to 20 point per game scorer, good three-point shooter, he was traded to the Boston Celtics before the 2026 season started, and eventually the Celtics traded him to the Chicago Bulls for Nikola Vucevic. So the Chicago Bulls kind of got a plethora of guards. I would have to imagine Simons would be in that mix next season. And yeah, like I said, he's established himself as a really, really good guard in this league. So I think he will definitely have a good role with the Chicago Bulls going forward, but we will have to see. Number 25, we have Mo Wagner. He started off his career with the Lakers and was traded to the Washington Wizards. And then he's been playing with his brother for, I want to say, the past 4 or 5 years now, if I'm correct on that, with his brother Franz Wagner down with the Orlando Magic. But he's been a really just perfect backup center for the Magic. can score, provides a lot of energy, can rebound. So yeah, just really solid center. Nothing really else I can say about him. But like I said, it's pretty cool that he gets to play with his brother on the Orlando Magic. So yeah, just a really neat situation. Mo Wagner, just a pretty solid backup center. Number 26, we have Landry Shamet. Really made his mark early on with both the Sixers and the Clippers as just a really potent three-point shooter. And now for this 2026 season, he has been with the New York Knicks. Been a really solid bench player for them, can stretch the floor really well, provides a lot of energy. Had a massive Game 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals to help the Knicks come back versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. So yeah, Shamet, he's just really a guy you want on your roster, especially if you're a playoff squad. Like I said, provides a lot of energy, really good three-point shooting. So has had a really solid NBA career so far. Number 27, we have Robert Williams. Spent a good chunk of his career so far with the Boston Celtics, but has been with the Portland Trail Blazers as of late. He's just a pretty solid NBA center. Though he's kind of struggled with some injury issues here and there, can block shots really well, can rebound, but hopefully Robert Williams is kind of a crucial part of that going forward here, though that might be a little bit difficult just because there's some center competition. Obviously, Blazers got Donovan Clingan as well. Number 28, we have Jacob Evans. Currently, he is playing overseas, and so for the 2026 season, he played pro basketball in the Czech Republic. Previously, he's played with some other teams outside the NBA as well. At least to finish off his sort of NBA/NBA G League stints, he was with the Santa Cruz Warriors for a few seasons. He did start off his career with Golden State, played a couple years there, was also with the Minnesota Timberwolves during the 2020 season. So yeah, had kind of an NBA/a few NBA stints throughout here and there. But yeah, this past 2026 season, he played pro ball in the Czech Republic. At number 29, we have Jonan Musa. Currently, he is playing pro ball for Dubai. During the previous 3 seasons, he'd been playing pro ball for Real Madrid. He started off his NBA career, though, with the Brooklyn Nets, but that was pretty much his only NBA stint, and since then, he's pretty much been playing overseas. Also played in the G League during his time in the NBA as well. So that's how his career has been so far, and like I said, during the 2026 season, played pro ball for Dubai. At number 30, we have Omari Spellman. He started off his NBA career at the Atlanta Hawks, played a season there. Also played for Golden State Warriors during their 2020 season, and then also was in the G League with the Iowa Wolves and the Erie Bayhawks. At least over the past couple of years, he played pro ball for the VTB League, and then this past 2026 season, he played for the Beijing Ducks in China. So that's how his pro career has panned out so far. Number 31, we have Eli Okobo. He started off his NBA career with the Phoenix Suns, and then from there played with the Long Island Nets, the Nets G League team in the 2021 season. And ever since then, he's been playing pro ball in France, and at least for the last 4 seasons, he's played for the AS Monaco. So that's how his pro career has panned out so far. Number 32, we have Javon Carter. He's developed into a really nice backup point guard for quite a few different teams. I mean, there's a few teams he's played with. I can at least name a few at the top of my head. He's played for the Bucks. He's been with the Bulls. And then he was with the Magic to end off the 2026 season. But yeah, he's just a great energy guy, can shoot a little bit. Seems like he's always just very active and engaged on the bench. So like I said, he's just really a guy you want to have on your roster. At least I remember watching some Bulls videos, and they said he was also like really funny as well. So brings a lot of good kind of humor to the locker room. But yeah, just seems like a great energy guy, good glue guy. And like I said, has really developed and kind of found sort of a niche role as this really solid backup point guard in the NBA. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is what happened to all 32 players drafted above Jalen Brunson. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.